Greetings, my friends. I want to tell you all about my new channel, Pop Culture KO, a channel where I'm going to experiment and try out some new things that I can't do on my main channel here because the algorithm discourages innovation and trying out new formats. Pop Culture KO will be more eclectic, with movie and TV reviews, game reviews, reviews of classic movies, YouTube shorts about rumors, and videos starring Harvey Cthulhu, the Skull of Calderon, and Omnivac himself. Go to youtube.com/@popcultureko or youtube.com/theharveyzone and subscribe today. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, please do. We need your help. Thanks for watching, and now, on with the video. Greetings, my friends. I am Victor Van Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth, and I woke up this morning thinking it was Christmas. I looked out the window to see if it was snowing, but it wasn't. Then I went over to the massive fireplace in the great hall of my castle, Xanadu, but there were no stockings. Then I went up to the battlements to check and see if Santa was up there with his sleigh. And I may or may not have been armed with a rifle, because I may or may not have always wanted to bag a reindeer, especially because you wouldn't have to mount the head on the wall. It would just float in the air like a balloon. But no, it wasn't Christmas that was filling me with a warm glow. It was more bad news for the destroyer of Star Wars, Kathleen Kennedy. Ho, ho, ho! It feels like Christmas, but it isn't, my friends. I woke up this morning believing it was Christmas because of the stunning news I'd gotten the night before from my good friend Cameron Pashaw about an update he'd gotten from the Lucasfilm secret agent codenamed Sparrow. This was an update to a serial more thrilling than Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, the further adventures of Kathleen Kennedy in the magic land of Lucasfilm. And it appears that this time, the magic rabbit hole she fell into may have spikes at the bottom coated with iocane powder, feces, and napalm, with a side dish of crow for dessert. To bring you up to speed, Kathleen Kennedy had a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad week last week when her much vaunted Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny debuted at the Cannes Film Festival to disastrous reviews. And as if that wasn't bad enough, Iger announced, without any courtesy notification to Kennedy whatsoever, that the Galactic Starcruiser Hotel, Kennedy's pet project built around her hated sequel trilogy at a reported cost of $2 billion, was such a failure, it will be closing in just under 2 years of operation. Towards the end of this sad and silly hotel's existence, they couldn't even book 100 rooms with any regularity. They were canceling a bunch of booking dates due to the lack of interest, and once again, Disney learned the consequences of listening to Kathleen Kennedy and creating a Star Wars hotel without any real Star Wars in it. A hotel based solely on her failed and loathed sequel trilogy. This was a 1-2 punch that Sparrow tells us is only the beginning of an Iger barrage that'll make the abuse Glass Joe routinely suffers on Punch-Out look like a visit to a day spa operated by a harem of Green Orion slave girls in Heat.
There was an intent behind these setbacks, Doomcock, mark my words. This barrage of public embarrassments was deliberately coordinated by Iger. Think about it, dude. The key is Khan itself.
Indeed, Harvey Cthulhu, I could not agree more. The Cannes Film Festival is the smoking gun that I believe potentially reveals Iger's intent to move against Kennedy at last. Consider this. He didn't have to announce the closing of the Galactic Starcruiser Hotel last week. He could have delayed the announcement a week or two, just to soften the blow against Kennedy. But he didn't. Nope. Not only did he release the news at the same time Kennedy was getting beaten up by the horrible reviews of Indy 5 from Cannes. According to this rumor, he didn't even give Kennedy a heads up about the decision to close her hotel, much less notice he was about to announce it in a press release so that she could prepare herself. Nope. It is alleged that Kennedy found out about the hotel closing at the same time we did, And that plunged her into a rage that sent her rampaging around the Lucasfilm offices, and her flying monkeys on staff had to talk her down from sending Iger a nasty email in the heat of the moment. But Cannes, my friends, the Cannes Film Festival is the key. Consider, why did Iger allow Indy 5 to be screened over a month before its theatrical release at Cannes, especially with no review embargo in place? Iger must have known that Indy 5 was a shit show that would get savaged by the press. He must have known that by releasing it over a month before it hits theaters, that by the time it did hit theaters, the narrative would be set in stone, the bad reviews would be out, plot leaks and synopses would be all over the internet, so by the time it actually releases, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny will be old news. So the question is, did Iger want Kennedy to be humiliated publicly as part of a campaign to finally move against her? Now, Iger did not want Indy 5 to fail, but if he felt that failure was inevitable, if the movie was so bad he knew it was destined to bomb, then why not direct that bomb in a direction where the explosion would at least serve his purposes? Did Iger arrange all of this for maximum impact? And was his target Kathleen Kennedy herself?
It seems to me that Iger gave Kennedy a choice. You may go out in a Viking funeral where we praise your name and sing songs of your glory as we push you out on a burning longboat and salute. But Kathleen Kennedy rejected her Viking funeral, and now as a result, Iger is giving her a piñata funeral. Brrr, ay.
Aptly put, Skull of Calderon, a piñata funeral indeed. And it seems that the insider codenamed Sparrow agrees with you. In a new update posted by Cameron Pasha on his Patreon, and you'll find the link to that Patreon in the video description, Sparrow reveals that heavy shit is going down at Lucasfilm and the flying monkeys are chittering in terror. It appears that someone is moving through the halls of Lucasfilm holding a big bucket of water, asking for directions to Kennedy's office, metaphorically speaking, of course. In this latest update, Sparrow informs us that the Ahsoka production is reeling after news that one of the stars of Ahsoka, Ray Stevenson, has passed away, and they're trying to figure out how to handle this. He played Dark Jedi Baylan Skoll, and they're trying to decide whether to write out the character in Season 2 or to use deepfake technology to keep him in. However, mostly Sparrow offers up the following update on Kennedy from inside Lucasfilm. As Cameron tells us, quote, Sparrow reveals that conversations are intensifying about Kennedy's exit in the office. Most significantly, Lucasfilm Legal Affairs has been contacted by Disney CEO Bob Iger's office for a closed-doors meeting. Sparrow believes that this meeting will likely hash out Kennedy's fate, and she is not invited. On top of that, Lucasfilm Human Resources is setting a phone call with Disney corporate HR. Sparrow says that such phone calls are usually the sign of an important HR issue being brought to a head and a precursor to a firing, again suggesting that the fate of Kennedy and her flying monkeys is being finalized. The flying monkeys, for their part, quote, are in shock by the shock and awe laid down by Iger last week, unquote. They are trying to keep Kennedy from doing anything rash in the vein of the aborted angry email to Iger on Friday. But Sparrow says there is growing resignation that Kennedy will be forcibly retired, and the monkeys are focusing now on keeping their own jobs. Apparently, Kennedy has blown her chance at getting an honorable exit by throwing away her chance for the accolades of a Viking funeral at Star Wars Celebration. When her time comes, she will be asked to leave her keys at the front desk and quietly go home, unquote.
Now, we've heard this many times before, dude, that KK is headed out the door, but this time, I don't know. With all the events of last week, it maybe feels different, doesn't it?
Like with alcoholics who have to hit rock bottom before they can actually change, Disney's come home to Jesus moment may have finally arrived because the stock is in the toilet, nearly dipping down to $90 a share. Florida is suing Disney. Investors are trying to sue Disney. Little Mermaid and Indy 5 look like box office bombs just waiting to detonate. Disney lost upwards of $1 billion on the failed Galactic Starcruiser Hotel. Iger is desperately tightening Mickey's belt and doing whatever he can to save money. Will there be a better time to finally make the ultimate savings and get rid of someone who wrecked one of their greatest franchises, costing them God knows how much money in the long run? But here's the kicker, folks. If and when Kennedy leaves her office keys at the front desk, who will be getting those keys? Quote, Sparrow reveals that internal security protocols have been updated and Jon Favreau is being given full access to all of Lucasfilm, both in terms of the physical operations as well as internal systems. As Sparrow says, quote, Kennedy had the key to open every door in the office. Now Favreau is being given that key, unquote.
Holy shit on a stickeroo! I wonder, Doomcock, was Favreau killing off his own character in The Mandalorian a signal not to fans, but to Iger and the Disney board that he had one foot out the door? Could it be that he was strategically sending a message to them that he was ready to quit, and so, along with all the other pressures, Iger is finally ready to cut out the tumor from the Lucasfilm body?
If this is true, and of course all of this is rumor, folks, I want to make that perfectly clear, then yes, Favreau being given the keys to the kingdom formerly held by Kennedy would indeed be a symbolic and literal vote of confidence for Favreau and a bribe that he should stick around Disney a little while longer because the times they are a-changin'. At this point, I'm skeptical about any announcements that Kennedy is on her last legs, but the public and deliberate dissing of KK by Iger, shock and awe, as Sparrow said, not once but twice last week, gives me pause. Those events were coordinated and no accident, and it may mean that Lucasfilm is about to get a huge and long overdue shakeup. From the center of the earth, this is Victor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry. Ha 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 ha.